You won't believe what just happened to Betty Bayo and Pastor Kanyari's family, because in the last few hours, shocking new details have exploded online, and let me tell you, nobody saw this coming. Just when fans thought that this drama was finally cooling down, boom, Kanyari's own brother shocks the entire country.
Wale watoto watarudi katika mikono ya Pastor Kanyari, Bwana asifiwe.
Stepping forward with explosive claims that Kanyari should take full custody of the kids, even saying that he didn't understand how two fathers could co-parent at all.
Because hata mimi nilikuwa najiuliza ya kwamba utafanyaje co-parenting na mwanaume mwenzako.
But that's not even the craziest part. After a wave of outrage, backlash and emotional reactions across social media, Pastor Kanyari's brother has suddenly apologized, but in a twist that has viewers speechless. He still insists his words were misunderstood and that he still doesn't see the connection between Kanyari and Tash without Betty Bayo.
Na kuna kitu ambaye ninaona ya kwamba nimepata watu wamenishika vibaya ama nimekuwa misquoted kwa yale mambo ambaye niliweza kuzungumza jana katika candlelighting ya Prophet Kanyari.
Tension is rising, emotions are boiling, and this story is far from over, because if you think that was dramatic, wait until you hear what happened next.
Nataka kusema ya kwamba watu walinipata vibaya katika maneno ambaye kuna kitu ambaye nilisema maneno ambaye ni ya super, na nikasema ya kwamba sasa yule ambaye alikuwa anawaunganisha sasa ameondoka, so sijui vile kutakuwa. Na wakati ambaye nilisema namna hiyo, watu wameandika mambo mengi sana, lakini nafikiri ya kwamba kuna wengine wako pande yangu wanasema nilisema ukweli, na kuna wengine wanasema kwamba niliongea vibaya. Na mimi sioni, I beg to differ. Mimi sioni mahali ambapo niliongea vibaya, because nilisema ya kwamba yule mtu ambaye alikuwa anafanya ya kwamba Kanyari ama Kanyari vile ambavyo Kanyari yuko alikuwa kwamba ni Betty Bayo ndio alikuwa anaunganisha Kanyari na Tash. Now that Betty Bayo hayuko, sioni link nyingine tena between Kanyari na mtu ambaye anaitwa Tash.
To understand this custody battle, you need to understand the two men who are at the center of it all. First, we have Pastor Victor Kanyari, Betty Bayo's ex-husband and the biological father to Sky and Dan Victor. Kanyari is a controversial figure in Kenya. Some know him as the preacher who was exposed in a scandal years ago. One thing is undeniable, Kanyari has been financially supporting his kids. He has been open about paying their school fees, which he claims cost him around 500,000 Kenyan shillings, and he talked about securing a 90 million shilling mansion in Runda to provide a luxurious home for them. Then there is Hiram Gitau, known as Tash, and Tash is Betty Bayo's widower. Just when everyone thought that this custody situation would be handled privately and respectfully, Pastor Kanyari's brother Jackson Mwangi stepped into the spotlight a few hours ago and dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming.
Najua it is very hard because sasa ile ilikuwa super glue, bwana, sasa imeondoka. Sasa you cannot co-parent na mwanaume mwenzako, bwana asifiwe.
During the candlelighting ceremony held to honor the late Betty Bayo, Jackson Mwangi, who is also a preacher, stood up to speak. What he said next will become the most controversial statement of this entire saga. Jackson began by talking about how happy he was that the children would be coming home to their biological father. He mentioned that the family was looking forward to the kids meeting their cousins and teaching them proper English. So far, nothing was too shocking, right? But then he said something that made everyone's jaw drop. Jackson Mwangi openly questioned how two men could possibly co-parent together. His exact words implied that with Betty Bayo gone, she was the super glue that held Kanyari and Tash together, and without her, there was no reason for these two men to continue any kind of relationship.
Na watoto ni wa Kanyari, na sioni kama Tash pia anaweza kuamilia watoto ambaye anajua kwamba sio wake. So Juma nikasema ya kwamba now that Betty Bayo hayuko, uzuri kwamba mtu ambaye anaitwa Kanyari anafaa kupatiwa watoto wake, because itakuwaje ya kwamba mtoto wa msichana apatiwe mtu ambaye sio baba yake na baba yake yuko. Sioni kama ni haki. Mimi sioni kama ni haki, na baba yake amekuwa all along, amekuwa akisimama mahali pale, amekuwa akiangalia watoto wake vizuri, si ati kwamba tu ametokea sasa. Na mimi najua Bayo katika personal capacity alikuwa rafiki yangu hata wakidate.
He specifically said that He couldn't understand how his brother could co-parent with a fellow man. Referring to Tash, he made it clear that he didn't see Tash having any legitimate claim to the children and that the family was expecting their kids to come to what he called their rightful home. The internet has exploded. Social media users were furious. Many felt that Jackson's comments were incredibly insensitive and very disrespectful to Tash, who had been a devoted father figure and was still grieving the loss of his wife. People pointed out that Tash had been present in these children's daily lives, building real relationships and providing emotional support, something that can't be measured in school fees alone. Critics have called Jackson's statements tone-deaf, inappropriate and hurtful. They argued that dismissing Tash's role simply because he wasn't the biological father was cruel and ignored the reality of modern blended families. But that is not all. Wait until you hear what happened next. The backlash has been so intense, so overwhelming that Jackson Mwangi was forced to issue a public apology. But here is the twist, even his apology has caused more controversy. In his apology, Jackson claimed that his words had been taken out of context and misunderstood. He insisted that he never meant to disrespect Betty Bayo's memory or hurt anyone's feelings. He explained that he was simply expressing his view that the children belonged with their biological father. But here is the problem with this apology. Jackson Mwangi doubled down on his position. Even while apologizing, he maintained that he didn't see any link between his brother Kanyari and Tash now that Betty Bayo was gone. He reiterated his belief that the children should be with their biological father and that Tash, not being their biological parent, should not hold on to the kids. So essentially, Jackson apologized for how he said it, but not for what he said, and that made people even more angry. The comment section on social media have been brutal. People wrote things like, "This statement will be very helpful for Tash in court," suggesting that Jackson's word could actually hurt Kanyari's case if this battle ever reaches a legal system. Others called Jackson very disrespectful and accused the family of being insensitive during such a difficult time. Many have pointed out that grief and custody battles should never mix and that this entire public spectacle was unfair to the children who were already dealing with the loss of their mother. But what does the law actually say about all this? That's the million-shilling question, and the answers are going to shock you. Now let's get into the legal facts, because this is where things get really interesting. Kenya's custody laws are governed by the Children's Act, and legal experts have been weighing in on this case. One of the most prominent voices is lawyer Danstan Omari, a well-known Kenyan attorney who specializes in family law and has represented numerous high-profile clients in custody and paternity cases. According to legal experts like Danstan Omari, when it comes to custody battles in Kenya, there is a simple but powerful principle at play. Section 101 of the Children's Act essentially views parental rights like a company with a shareholding. The mother has 50% shares and the father has 50% shares. Both parents have equal rights to their children regardless of their relationship status. However, when one parent passes away, as in Betty Bayo's case, the surviving biological parent has a significantly higher chance of gaining custody. Legal experts estimate that Pastor Kanyari, as the biological father, has approximately a 99% chance of being granted custody unless he can be proven unfit, or unless there are compelling reasons that will make it unsafe for the children to be in his care. The court's primary consideration in any custody case is always the best interest of the children. This is the golden rule that guides every decision under Section 103 of the Children's Act. Court assesses several key factors including the wishes of the child, the ability to provide safety, financial capability, and financial capacity. Unfortunately for Tash, despite the emotional bond he has built with the children, Kenyan law does not automatically grant step-parents custodial rights when their biological parent is alive and willing to take full custody. Tash would have to prove to court that Pastor Kanyari is very unfit or that it would be harmful for the children to live with him. Sky Victor and Dan Victor are grieving. They are processing the unimaginable pain of losing Betty Bayo, the woman who brought them into this world, raised them, sang to them, and loved them unconditionally. And while they are trying to cope with the devastating loss, the adults in their lives are publicly debating whether they should live. At Betty Bayo's memorial service, young Danny Victor showed immense strength and maturity beyond his years when he stood up and eulogized his mother. Sky, the older of the children, has also been remarkably strong throughout this ordeal, and according to Betty Bayo's close friend Shirowa GP, Sky was one of the last people to see her mother's consciousness. Sky actually went down on her knees and prayed for her mother to be healed, asking God not to take her away. She encouraged Betty not to lose hope, showing faith and courage in the face of tragedy. Both children attended their mother's memorial service dressed in black, their faces showing the weight of grief they are carrying. They sat through tributes, tears, and testimonies about their beloved mother, all while the public debated their future. So there you have it, the complete breakdown of the custody battle that has divided Kenya. We have seen shocking statements from Kanyari's brother that sparked outrage, and we have heard an apology that wasn't really an apology. We have learned about Kenya's custody laws and why biology carries such enormous weight in court. We have discovered that the controversial lawyer visit was actually about protecting the children's financial future, not starting a legal war. And we have seen two fathers, both claiming to love these children, navigate an impossible situation. But at the end of the day, this is not just a legal battle or any social media spectacle. This is about two young children who lost their mother way too soon and who now need adults in their lives to make decisions based on love, not ego or public opinions. Will Pastor Kanyari get full custody as the law suggests? Will Tash be allowed to remain part of the children's lives? Will Sky and Danny Victor wishes be heard and respected? Only time is going to tell. What we do know now is that Betty Bayo's legacy, her music, her faith, her love for her children, that will live on forever. And hopefully, the adults handling the children's future will make decisions that honor her memory and protect the well-being of the two beautiful lives she left behind. What do you think about this? Should the children go to their biological father or stay with their stepfather who raised them? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any update on this story. This has been the complete story of the Betty Bayo custody controversy. Let's catch up on my next video. Stay informed, stay compassionate, and remember, behind every headline are real people with real feelings.